Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Wednesday, November 13th, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. You're looking at Volcano in Indonesia, the 1969 eruption at VEI 3. The volcano has recently been put on alert level 3. We also have a close eye on potential Hurricane Sara headed to the Gulf. Keep calm. It's boom time. Tropical storm Sara likely to track through the Caribbean with catastrophic flood danger to Central America. The National Hurricane Center says there is a high chance of tropical development in the Western Caribbean. It's likely this system will become the season's 18th named storm, Sara. Interests from the Western Caribbean to Florida should monitor the forecast now, and monitor indeed. Potential tropical cyclone 19, maximum sustained winds at 30 miles per hour will increase over the coming days. Now, the bad news, it's going to stall just above Nicaragua for several days, bringing the potential for up to 30 inches of rain. And we saw what 27 inches of rain did to North Carolina, now didn't we? Here is the key message for potential tropical cyclone Sara. Through early next week, heavy rainfall will cause significant life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides across portions of Central America, particularly Honduras, Belize, El Salvador, and eastern Guatemala, and western Nicaragua. The disturbance is forecast to be near hurricane strength when it moves near the eastern coast of Honduras and northeastern Nicaragua on Friday and Saturday. Hurricane and tropical storm conditions are possible over portions of that area. Now, the question is, where will it go? The models are still not in agreement. Many of them have this dissipating as it moves across the Yucatan Peninsula and dwindling into a tropical depression, which just brings rain to northern Florida. Some other tracks have it just cutting over the tip of the Yucatan and strengthening and hitting the Big Bend region. We're still days out from this tropical storm even developing. It should develop tomorrow into a tropical storm here. We're looking at the NavGem, and it should linger around in this region for several days right there, right off the coast of Nicaragua, before it blasts its way across the Yucatan and potentially towards the Big Bend region. If we take a look at the GFS model, the GFS is showing that it actually goes real deep here into Belize and breaks apart and reforms just as a tropical storm moving across northern Florida. That is the best case scenario. A quick look at the icon model. You can see the storm developing and sitting down there for quite some time before it makes its way across the Yucatan. So we are far out. Let's look at the the European ensemble here. And there we can see Tropical Storm Sara forming and then moving across the Yucatan and then moving up into Florida on the 20th and the 21st as a tropical storm. So hopefully the weaker models are what develops, but we're so far out, there's really no way to know. When you look at the spaghetti models, it's anyone's guess. Every single run of these changes the direction of the storm. 3 runs ago, we had this storm hitting southern Florida, and now we're all the way up at the Panhandle. So I would say that at this time, by Saturday, we will know exactly where this storm is headed and what the potential threats are. Are you dreaming of snow this winter? Well, look no further than the Washington Post to have the worst forecast ever possible. This coming out just hours ago shows the Washington Post winter forecast for the season, this snow season, compared to the last several decades. And they're having most of the U.S. well below normal snowfall with just a few pockets of above normal. The only problem with this, Washington Post, is you didn't even look at the data. Wolf Creek has already gotten 66 inches of snow, months earlier than normal, and we are right here in the dark brown. We are 10 times above the average snowpack for the season right now. And we're not alone. All of the regions you show getting low snowpack right here are all 5 to 10 times above normal. So apparently you didn't get the memo. The Washington Post is garbage anyway and doesn't produce anything that's factual or worthy science or reporting. It's all propaganda and garbage. You want to get the facts, you just go look at the source. Look at where the facts are coming from. Almost 400% of snowpack in the regions they said would be well below normal. Here is another region well below normal, another well below normal region. Do you think the Washington Post nailed it? Well, they are predicting the entire winter season, but it has already begun and it's already record-breaking in all the brown regions. And in fact, more of the brown regions received even more snow over the last 24, 48 hours. Some areas up to 2 feet of snow up in the Pacific Northwest, but a huge swath getting buried early in the season. And here's the full forecast. Critical fire weather in southern New England, heavy rain and mountain snow for the northwestern U.S. Red flag warnings have been remaining in effect today for southern New England due to more critical fire weather, as you can see here. And that has a lot to do with a lot of dry fuels on the ground and high winds. An atmospheric river will bring a marginal risk for heavy to excessive low elevation rain and mountain snow to the Pacific Northwest and Northern California today into at least Thursday night. So heed the warnings. We also have some warnings up here for central Oklahoma, and that appears to be a frost advisory. So heed the warnings and bring in or cover your sensitive crops or plants. Quick look over at the GFS model to show how much snow is going to be piling up through the end of November. It's insane. If this holds true, this could be record-breaking numbers for Pennsylvania. I do digress. Let's walk it through for you. Here is Thursday through Friday morning. Heavy snow will be moving down in the high elevations through the Pacific Northwest into the weekend Friday. As we enter the weekend, the snow will creep down further all the way down the Sierra Crest, bringing at least 6 to 10 inches to many areas. Over the weekend and into Monday morning, we can see another atmospheric river penetrating into the Pacific Northwest. This is not before snow is left into southern elevations, even in Mexico, in November. A November to remember. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says it never snows in Mexico. Let's move the weekend through. Here is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We could be seeing a huge blizzard developing. We've been talking about this now for about 5 days. It's been on the models, and it continues to stay there. A blizzard potentially November 19th, 20th, and 21st could bring record-breaking snow to the northern plains. And, well, lots of snow forecast on the GFS model. Buckle up, Buttercup. Seismic update. No quakes of note worldwide. We are looking at low-level activity everywhere, but we are waiting on the coupling of a coronal hole, which could send us into seismic alert. Worldwide volcano news. We've got Abeco, the first on the list, for Wednesday, the 13th of November, 10,000-foot blast there. Liwa Toby continuing its week-long assault, continuing to erupt with continuous ash emissions to 15,000. Sengay on the list. Samaru, who knew? Now you do. 14,000-foot puff. Karimsky, 10,000-foot blast there. We've got Shivalush, volcanic ash, not identifiable, and Aya volcano in Flores, Indonesia. Increased seismic unrest. Alert level raised to 3. Holy macaroni, what does that mean for you and I? Well, Aya volcano is a massive composite stratovolcano in Sunda, on the Sunda volcanic arc. The eruptive history is slightly violent. VEI 2 and 3 is common, and there have been almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 eruptions on record, and the majority of them in the last 200 years. The last major eruption that was significant was the 1969 eruption, which lasted for 3 days from January 27th to the 30th, and it came in at VEI 3, was quite spectacular. The only problem is there are lots of people that live in the footprint of this volcano. So bad news could be coming out in a couple of days, weeks, or months in the location of Aya volcano. So heed the warnings. Here we can see Liwa Tobi Laki continuing its volcanic ash assault as seen here from MODIS. And that is satellite imagery there. Liwa Tobi puffing to 15,000 foot continuously today. Reventador, 15,000 foot blast. Semeru on the list, 14,000 foot. Ibu to 10, Fuego to 15. Dukono to 8,000 foot today, Semadu to 14, Liwatobi to 15, Popo to 21,000 foot, Reventador, volcanic ash, likely, Fuego to 16, Semadu to 14, Ibu to 10, Karimsky to 10,000 as well. We've got Liwatobi continuing to 15,000 foot, Dukono to 8, wrapping up worldwide volcano news. And several people have been asking me to show the erupting volcanoes worldwide. Those are in red. And this is not an uptick at all. This is not abnormal activity. This is normal activity that I've been watching volcanic activity for decades, and there is no change in volcanic activity worldwide. Space weather update. We're waiting to couple with these coronal holes, specifically the big coronal hole, number 90. Still hasn't happened. Let's take a quick jump over to telemetry. We can see the BZ is shifting south now. Let's refresh this. There is no coronal hole activity. We're going to see a bump up in speed if we see that, as well as density and maybe even temperature. But we are still waiting for the coronal hole to arrive, and that means seismic alert. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet, very low-level flaring, none of it geoeffective. Currently at KP1. How fun. Solar activity during the past 24 hours was at moderate levels with a number of minor C flares and 2 low-level M flares detected around AR 3889 right there near center disk. With the exception of 38889, the visible disk is looking rather abysmal. Yes, especially considering we're at solar max. The noticeable decrease in large sunspots as of late is quite telling. Grand solar minimum much. The solar flux index took a dip all the way down to 150. It was up to 267 just a week ago. This is the lowest value since May 2nd, 2024. Don't worry, though. It's only a matter of time before we see another sunspot surge as we make our way through solar max. Or will we? The final supermoon of 2024 rises November 15th as November's full Beaver moon. My favorite full moon, the Beaver moon. The full Beaver moon boom. November's full Beaver moon boom will rise Friday, November 15th, just in time for those willing to stay up late for some weekend sky watching. The moment of full moon occurs at 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, but the moon will appear full for most observers for a day or two prior to the moment of exact fullness and a day after. So get out and look up. You can't be that busy. And if you haven't heard, Trump picks Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, ruffling the feathers of many. Tulsi used to be a Democrat. She reformed to the Republican Party. She's a badass, a combat war veteran, a very smart human being and a wonderful person, and perfect for the job of Director of National Intelligence. And definitely not part of the deep state, which has got the deep state's panties in a ruffle. And how about this? Trump taps Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. It'll be a fight, but I believe they will fight it till the end. Gaetz' nomination was met with a surprise from House lawmakers, where the Florida congressman has been the subject of an ethics committee investigation. But good news, Gaetz has already, resigned from the position because he is now waiting to be the next Attorney General. Holy macaroni. Things are going to change rapidly. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned, and that may end in the near future. We hope so. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. Watch all of our podcasts in one place, commercial free. Click any of the links below the video. And we love you. And that is a boom. Be safe.